She was pushed off an icy cliff by her own husband because she was too fat to love, too dumb to suspect after he secured all her assets in his name. "Do you think fat insulates from a 300-meter drop?" The mistress's mocking laugh echoed in her head as she fell. "This is the cleanest way to take out the trash," he said coldly. Letting go, she didn't die. But the woman she used to be ended that night. 2 years later, she returned with a new face, a new name, and a plan to drag her betrayers into the hell they thought they'd left her in. Elena Hartley, 29, stood in the sleek boardroom of Hartley & Co., her white lab blouse a quiet rebellion against the tailored suits around her, slightly overweight. Her soft frame carried a beauty no one noticed, high cheekbones hidden under a modest blush, green eyes sharp with a chemist's precision, her brown hair, always tied back, framed a face that held storms beneath its calm. Born to a Pittsburgh scientist and a schoolteacher, Elena's PhD in biochemistry made her a silent force in Hartley's labs, her mind crafting cancer drugs that saved thousands. When her father's death in 2023 left her the $16 billion pharmaceutical empire, the world scoffed. "She's too plain to lead," they whispered. "Too heavy to command." Elena heard every word, her silence a fortress, her focus on cures, not applause. Her inner monologue was steady. "They see my weight, not my worth. Let them." A flashback hit her father's lab. His gentle voice sang, "Your brain is your crown." Elena, the audience's hearts tensed, their anger stirring at the elite's careless cruelty. Nicholas Hale, 34, swept into her life like a gale, handsome, ambitious. His gray eyes and chiseled jaw made for magazine covers. A startup founder whose tech ventures sparkled in Silicon Valley. He hid a trail of failures behind his charm. He wooed Elena with talks of innovation, his laughter warm, his touch disarming. Within 6 months, they married in a Pittsburgh chapel, her simple ivory dress glowing, his suit sharp, but behind closed doors, his warmth turned to ice. Elena, a CEO needs to look the part. He'd sneer, eyeing her curves, his voice a scalpel. His psychology was a knot of hunger born to a Cleveland clerk. Nicholas despised his modest roots, his ambition a fire fed by envy. A flashback showed his first startup crumbling, investors laughing at his pitch. Elena's wealth was his salvation, her trust his weapon. The audience's rage flared, their hearts with Elena, their fury a spark against his deception. Vanessa Reeve, 30, Nicholas's strategic advisor and influencer with 5 million followers, was his shadow and his lover, their affair predating Elena's engagement. Her platinum hair and lithe frame made her a media siren, her smiles hiding a viper's bite. Vanessa's psychology was rooted in rivalry she'd known Elena at Carnegie Mellon, her charisma eclipsed by Elena's quiet brilliance in labs. A flashback showed Vanessa's failed research project, Elena's work earning the professor's nod. Her inner monologue seethed, "She's nothing. I'm the star." Now, as Hartley's public face, Vanessa wielded her influence to reshape the company's image, her cruelty a performance. At a corporate gala, her voice sliced through the ballroom. "A gown belongs on collarbones, not bread rolls." Guests chuckled, their champagne flutes swaying. Nicholas smirked, adding, "Elena, if you got cancer, your fat cells would probably outlive us all." Elena stood still, her green eyes steady, her silence a vault. Internally, she cataloged their words. Every jab is a thread in their noose. The audience's anger surged, their hearts breaking at this public shaming, their rage a fire against Vanessa's venom. The humiliation grew sharper in corporate circles. At a shareholder meeting in Hartley's Pittsburgh Tower, a director, Richard Cole, 52, with a silver mane and a Yale degree, sneered, "Elena, labs are your place, not boardrooms." His ally, Laura Tate, 45, the CFO with a steely gaze, laughed. Her presence dims the brand. Their words, fueled by Nicholas's whispers of Elena's inadequacy, echoed through the glass walls. As board members nodded, Richard's greed drove him, his stock options tied to Nicholas's rise. Laura's fear of Elena's intellect made her a willing pawn. A flashback showed Elena's first board presentation, her drug trial data dismissed as uninspired. Richard's smirk a wound. Elena's inner monologue hardened. They think I'm soft because I don't shout. That's their mistake. She stood firm, her silence a strategy. But the board's scorn was a crushing tide. The audience's fury roared, their hearts pounding at this professional betrayal. Their rage a tempest against the board's arrogance. A group of pharmaceutical industry peers, gathered at a Hartley-sponsored conference in Chicago, turned their expertise into a cruel assault, their tailored blazers and gold watches gleaming. She's a lab rat, not a leader, sneered Dr. Paul Warwick, 49, a rival CEO with a Stanford pedigree, his voice sharp, running Hartley. She's too heavy to carry that weight. His colleague, a research director named Diane Holt, 42, laughed. Her ideas are as outdated as her wardrobe. Their words, fueled by Vanessa's whispers of Elena's incompetence, cut through the clink of coffee cups. As attendees nodded, their notepads raised in mockery, Paul called out, "Elena, stick to mixing chemicals, not managing empires." The conference hall roared, the taunt ablaze against her poise, echoing the lab assistants who'd snubbed her in grad school. Elena's mind flashed to her childhood, overweight and teased. Her father's words, "Your mind outshines their noise." Internally, she felt the sting of being dismissed, but her silence was deliberate. She needed their cruelty to build her case. Vanessa's smirk, as she toasted Paul, deepened the assault. Her scheme, a public execution. The audience's fury surged, their hearts breaking at this intellectual cruelty, their rage a volcano against the peers' arrogance. In private, the cruelty cut deeper. At a dinner in their Pittsburgh penthouse, Vanessa, sipping wine, taunted, "Elena, you're like a lab sample useful, but nobody frames you." Nicholas laughed, his gray eyes cold. "She's my ticket to the elite. Vanessa, a means to an end." Elena, clearing plates, absorbed the blows, her green eyes flickering with pain. A flashback hit her mother, stitching her graduation dress, saying, "Your strength is in what you endure." Elena's inner monologue wrestled with doubt. Am I blind to love a man who hates me? But her scientist's mind noted patterns. Nicholas's secretive calls, Vanessa's smug glances. She began to suspect, her silence a mask, her trust a calculated act to gather proof. The audience's rage surged, their hearts shattering at this intimate betrayal, their fury a volcano against Nicholas's malice. Nicholas's family allies, mingling at a private Hartley estate brunch, spun their loyalty into a vicious flogging, their silk scarves and cufflinks flashing. "She's a disgrace," hissed Margaret Hale, 55, Nicholas's aunt and a real estate tycoon, her voice dripping with scorn. "A billionaire's wife should be refined, not robust." Her son, a lawyer named Philip Hale, 32, chuckled. "She's a walking embarrassment to our name." Their words, laced with Nicholas's tales of Elena's unworthiness, sliced through the clatter of silverware. As guests whispered, "She's a mismatch," Margaret called out, "Elena, you're not family, you're a burden." The patio roared, the taunt a whip against her calm, reviving memories of her mother's funeral, where relatives had whispered about her weight. Elena's mind flashed to her wedding. Nicholas's promise to shield her, now a lie. Internally, she felt the weight of rejection, but her silence was a vow she'd let their betrayal fuel her trap. Nicholas's nod to Margaret sealed the assault, his control absolute. The audience's rage roared, their hearts shattering at this familial cruelty, their fury a tempest against the allies' malice. Nicholas's plan took shape in shadows. He convinced Elena to transfer Hartley assets into his name, citing strategic restructuring. His charm was a veneer, his gray eyes soft as he signed the papers. Elena complied, her love a fog, though unease stirred. A flashback showed her father's warning, "Guard your empire." Elena, by mid-2023, Nicholas controlled 70% of Hartley & Co., his signature on every deal. Vanessa, his public ally, at a Manhattan fundraiser, a venture capitalist. Mark Evans, 50, sneered. Elena, you're a placeholder, not a player. His PR consultant, Claire Dunn, 38, laughed. She's too timid for this world. Their words, orchestrated by Vanessa's rumors, cut through the string quartet's music. As guests nodded, Elena's inner monologue was ice. They think I'm irrelevant. That's their downfall. She stood tall, her silence a baited hook. But the elite's scorn was a suffocating storm. The audience's fury exploded, their hearts pounding at this orchestrated dismissal. Their rage a hurricane against the elite's malice. A clique of media insiders, stationed at a Hartley press event in New York, turned their microphones into a cruel spectacle, their designer suits and earpieces glinting. "She's a nobody," sneered Jessica Klein, 35, a network anchor with 1 million viewers, her voice sharp as she adjusted her mic. Elena Hartley leading, "She's too plain to headline." Her colleague, a columnist named Ethan Brooks, 40, laughed. Her face would sink ratings. Their words, greenlit by Vanessa's leaked tips about Elena's dullness, cut through the flash of cameras. As reporters chuckled, their notebooks raised in mockery, Jessica called out, "Elena, you're not news, you're a footnote." The event hall roared, the taunt a guillotine against her poise, echoing the high school newspaper that mocked her looks. Elena's mind flashed to her lab, her drug trials saving lives, her quiet pride mocked. Internally, she felt the sting of being erased. But her silence was calculated. Vanessa's allies were weaving her trap. Vanessa's grin, as she signaled Jessica, fueled the gossip. Her malice a public execution. The audience's fury exploded, their hearts pounding at this orchestrated erasure. Their rage a hurricane against the insider's malice. Vanessa, seizing a charity auction stage in San Francisco, orchestrated a cruel spectacle, her platinum hair a beacon of malice. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced, holding a mock award for Hartley's invisible leader, for Elena, who proves you don't need charisma to inherit her voice, amplified by the venue's speakers, echoed across the crowd as donors roared, their wine glasses swaying. Nicholas's cousin, Sophia Hale, 33, called out, "Elena, step up and show us that presence." The stage erupted, the taunt a whip against Elena's calm, reviving the sting of her college debate team, where she'd been mocked for her looks. Elena's mind flashed to her lab breakthroughs, her drugs saving lives, her worth ridiculed. Internally, she felt the humiliation's weight, but her silence was a gambit she needed Vanessa's public cruelty to cement her trap. She stood firm, her green eyes blazing, her silence a radiant defiance that unnerved Vanessa. Vanessa tossed the award at Elena's feet, her smirk faltering, her control shaken. The audience's rage surged, their hearts breaking at this sadistic spectacle, their rage a volcano against Vanessa's malice. The romantic getaway was Nicholas's final act, a meticulously staged execution cloaked in the guise of love. In December 2023, they flew to Chamonix, the French Alps, where snow-draped chalets clung to jagged peaks under a sky sharp with stars. Their cliffside villa, perched 3,000 meters above the valley, glowed with the flicker of candlelight as they dined, the air thick with the scent of roasted lamb and deceit. Elena sipped her wine, each swallow heavy, her tongue tingling a sedative slipped by Nicholas. its bitter edge masked by the vintage's oak. Her head spun, the room tilting, her limbs leaden as if gravity had doubled. He rose, his gray eyes glinting like frost, and offered his hand, his voice a velvet lie. "Come, love. The stars are waiting." She stumbled after him, her heart pounding, her trust a fragile thread. Vanessa's silhouette lingered by the fire, her platinum hair a cruel beacon, her laughter a low, venomous hum on the snowy balcony. The wind sliced through Elena's thin dress, her skin prickling as snowflakes stung her face, her vision blurred, the stars smearing into streaks, her knees buckling under the drug's weight. Nicholas's grip tightened, his fingers iron against her wrist, pulling her toward the crevasse's edge, where the mountain fell away into a 300-meter abyss. Vanessa's voice slithered through the storm. "Do you think fat insulates from a 300-meter drop?" The words pierced Elena's fog, her mind flashing to their wedding. Nicholas's vow to cherish her, now ash. Her inner monologue screamed, "This can't be real. He loves me." But his face was a mask, his whisper a blade. "This is the cleanest way to take out the trash." His hands shoved her shoulders, deliberate, unyielding, and the world tilted. Elena's scream tore free, swallowed by the blizzard, as her body plummeted into the icy void, the cold clawing her lungs. The rocks below a promise of oblivion. The audience's rage roared, their heart shattering at this calculated murder, their fury a tempest against Nicholas's betrayal. Hartley's corporate staff, gathered at an internal company retreat in Aspen, turned their roles into a vicious assault, their branded polos and lanyards swaying. "She's a joke," hissed Clara Dunn, 30, a senior manager in marketing, her voice sharp as she poured coffee. A CEO, "She's too fat to fit the chair." Her colleague, a data analyst named Theo Reed, 28, laughed. Her leadership's as weak as her wardrobe. Their words, fueled by Nicholas's backstage lies about Elena's inability, cut through the chatter of team-building games. As employees nodded, their mugs raised in mockery, Clara called out, "Elena, you're not our boss, you're our mascot." The retreat roared, the taunt a blade against her calm, reviving memories of her grad school lab, where peers had mocked her appearance. Elena's mind flashed to her father's office, his pride in her work, now trampled. Internally, she felt the weight of their betrayal. But her silence was deliberate. She needed their scorn to peak for her plan. Nicholas's smirk, as he toasted Clara, deepened the assault. His scheme a public flogging. The audience's rage surged, their hearts breaking at this internal cruelty, their rage a volcano against the staff's malice. Elena didn't die. A humanitarian medical team, funded by a Hartley grant for Alpine Rescue, found her in a crevasse, 6 broken ribs, her face shattered, her pulse faint, 12 days in a coma. Her survival was a miracle. The team's leader, Dr. Marie Dubois, 48, a trauma surgeon mentored by Elena's father, repaid a debt of loyalty. A flashback showed Elena signing the grant, her father saying, "Save the helpers." Elena, when she woke in a Swiss hospital, her green eyes met a stranger's face in the mirror, her own, unrecognizable. Pain seared her, but her mind was clear. Her inner monologue was a vow. "They think I'm dead. Let them build their castle on my grave." She chose silence. No police, no press, and a new identity, Evelyn Rayner. A name forged in defiance. The audience's hearts pounded, their fury transforming into anticipation. As Elena's survival set the stage for vengeance, Elena's rebirth was a crucible. In Geneva, reconstructive surgery sculpted a new face, sharp cheekbones, a delicate jaw, her green eyes now framed by auburn hair. The physical pain paled against the psychological forging. A flashback showed her post-surgery mirror, her hands shaking. Is this me, or the weapon I need to be? She enrolled in a Swiss business institute, mastering corporate strategy. her mind ablade. Her inner monologue evolved. I trusted too easily. Now I trust only my plan. Physical therapy reshaped her body leaner, stronger. Not for vanity, but for resilience. A mentor. Professor Alain Moreau, 60, saw her fire, saying, "Your scars are your map." Elena's psychology shifted. She embraced her rage. Her doubt replaced by precision. The audience's anticipation soared. Their hearts with Elena. Their fury a coiled spring as she rebuilt herself. Through shell corporations, Elena bought back Hartley's minority shares. Her moves invisible. A flashback showed her late-night calls with a Swiss banker, Lucas Klein, 42, a Hartley loyalist who hid her transactions. She funded Nicholas and Vanessa's rise, wiring millions to their innovations. Her inner monologue cold. Every dollar is a step toward their fall. By 2025, Nicholas was Hartley's CEO, Vanessa his muse, their faces on Forbes. The couple who revived Hartley. A flashback showed Elena's hospital vow to Dr. Dubois, "I'll let them shine," then snuffed their light. Vanessa's psychology cracked. Her influencer empire thrived. But fear of exposure haunted her dreams. Nicholas's ambition blinded him. His inner monologue smug. "I'm the king now." The audience's rage surged, their hearts burning at this stolen glory. Their fury a storm against their arrogance. Elena's trap was set for the Pharmaceutical Leadership Gala, February 2025. In Manhattan's Waldorf Astoria, the ballroom, aglow with chandeliers and velvet, hosted 500 elites, CEOs, investors, media, Nicholas, in a tailored suit, and Vanessa, in a shimmering gown, basked in applause. Their speech a tapestry of lies. "We rebuilt Hartley from ashes," Nicholas declared, his gray eyes gleaming. Vanessa added, "Excellence demands sacrifice." Elena, as Evelyn Rayner, watched from the shadows, her auburn hair sleek, her black gown elegant, a mask concealing her face. Her inner monologue was a drumbeat. "They think this is their crown. It's their grave." A flashback showed her rigging the gala with Lucas, ensuring every camera was ready. Her growth shone. She'd once feared confrontation. Now she orchestrated it. The audience's anticipation thundered, their fury a ticking bomb. As Elena's silence promised justice, the lights cut. The ballroom screen flared. Surveillance footage from Chamonix played Nicholas leading Elena to the crevasse, his hands shoving her into the void. Gasps choked the crowd. An audio file followed. Vanessa's voice, cruel, "I bet when she fell. That fat pig still thought we loved her." A second file played Nicholas, recorded by Elena's hidden device, with her gone. Hartley's mine. A third flashed emails between Vanessa and Richard Cole, plotting to erase Elena's legacy. The ballroom froze, champagne flutes trembling, Nicholas's face drained, his suit a prison. Vanessa's gown seemed to choke her, her charm dust. The lights returned. Evelyn Rayner stepped onto the stage, her mask falling to reveal Elena's green eyes, now blazing. "She seized the mic. I died 2 years ago, but hell didn't want me. Maybe it needed me to escort 2 souls back down." The audience's hearts roared, their fury transforming into elation, as Elena's reveal shattered the gala, her silence a radiant throne. Yo, Elena, standing center stage at the gala, her black gown a symbol of rebirth, revealed a dossier, 2023 emails from Dr. Paul Warwick to Vanessa, advising her to marginalize Elena to protect industry standards. "You mocked my mind," she said, her voice a blade. The crowd gasped, turning to Paul, whose blazer sagged, his CEO status dust. Security presented a tablet, showing his company losing $50 million in partnerships. His legacy ashes. Diane Holt's notepad fell, her research role revoked. As she stammered, it was professional. Her mind flashed to her rise, built on Vanessa's favors, now collapsed. Elena's reflection, her lab trials. Outshining PhDs fueled her justice. A flashback to her Swiss training. Mastering corporate warfare grounded her resolve. The trap's logic, Elena had hacked the emails. Knowing Vanessa's allies would overstep, the audience cheered. Their anger transformed into pride, as Elena's evidence and brilliance crowned her eternal. Her new face, a radiant throne. FBI agents stormed the stage, badges glinting. Evidence flooded the screen, forged asset transfers. Nicholas's signatures. Vanessa's emails planning the murder. Bank records of embezzled millions, charges attempted murder, fraud. Embezzlement echoed through the ballroom. Nicholas stammered. It was an accident, his ambition a noose. Vanessa shrieked. She's a lie, her rivalry exposed. Handcuffs snapped. Camera flashes blinding them, the flashes they'd craved. Elena faced the crowd, her voice steel. The cruelest enemy isn't the one who kills you, but the one who kisses you before the push. From now on, I am the cliff, and they'll never crawl back up. The room erupted, elites rising. Their applause, a tidal wave. As Elena's justice rewrote the night, the audience cheered. Their anger transformed into triumph. As Elena's vengeance crowned her eternal. Her new face, a radiant scepter, Elena faced the crowd. Her green eyes lethal. Unveiling a financial audit, Margaret Hale's real estate firm had funneled funds to Nicholas's 2023 scheme to discredit Elena. You called me a burden, she declared, her voice unwavering. The crowd murmured, glaring at Margaret, whose scarf wilted. Her tycoon status a mirage, security presented documents, showing her firm losing $40 million in contracts. Her empire dust. Philip Hale's law practice faced disbarment, his cufflinks tarnished, as he muttered, we didn't know. His mind spiraled to his ambition, tied to Nicholas's lies. Now his ruin, Elena's reflection her wedding. Her grace under their scorn drove her justice, a flashback to her hospital bed, vowing to Dr. Dubois to expose every ally, explained her patience. The audience's hearts thundered. Their fury transformed into elation, as Elena's audit and trap silenced the elite, her silence a radiant scepter. Elena, her voice resounding, turned to the media insiders. You called me a footnote, but I'm the headline. She revealed investigator logs, showing Jessica Klein's texts to Vanessa, mocking Elena's irrelevant leadership. The crowd froze, turning to Jessica, whose suit crumpled. Her anchor roll ashes. Security presented a contract, terminating her network deal. Her career dust. Ethan Brooks's column was canceled, his status gone. As he stammered, it was just a story. His mind flashed to his rise, tied to Vanessa's tips, now collapsed. Elena's reflection, her lab, her quiet impact fueled her justice. A flashback to her Swiss planning, predicting the media's role. Explained the trap she'd ensured their texts were traced. The audience roared. Their fury transformed into pride, as Elena's rebuke and strategy crowned her a queen. Her new face, a radiant throne. Elena stepped forward, her voice a vow. You called me a mascot, but I'm your reckoning. She unveiled a 2023 audio of Clara Dunn boasting to Nicholas about sabotaging Elena's internal reports. You betrayed your own, she said, her voice lethal. The crowd gasped, glaring at Clara, whose polo sagged, her manager role dust. Security presented a document, terminating her department's contracts. Her career gone. Theo Reed's lanyard fell, his analyst status revoked. As he whispered, it was just talk. His mind flashed to his ambition, tied to Nicholas's lies. Now ashes, Elena's reflection her lab nights. Her brilliance mocked sealed the verdict. A flashback to her Swiss institute, learning to trace corporate leaks, explained her restraint she'd waited for undeniable proof. The audience's hearts soared. Their fury transformed into elation, as Elena's vow and trap crowned her eternal. her silence a radiant scepter. The fallout was swift. Nicholas faced life without parole, his charm a ghost, his empire ashes. A flashback showed his cell, his inner monologue broken. I played the game and lost. Vanessa was sentenced to 25 years. Her influencer status a footnote. Her followers gone. Her psychology unraveled in court. Her rivalry a confession. I hated her light. Richard Cole's directorship was revoked. His greed a regret. Laura Tate's CFO title was stripped. Her fear now her ruin. Their minds spiraled their rise, tied to Nicholas's lies. Now dust. Elena rebuilt Hartley with a new board scientists. Innovators her focus on cancer cures. A flashback showed her hospital recovery. Dr. Dubois saying, "You're not just alive, you're a reckoning." The audience's hearts soared. Their fury transformed into pride. As Elena's strategy silenced the elite, her resilience a radiant crown. Elena, standing before the gala crowd, announced a $3 billion foundation in her name for medical innovation, dwarfing Nicholas's legacy. "My pain is my power," she declared, her voice resounding. The crowd, now distant, shuddered, as Nicholas's trial became a global scandal. His name erased, security presented a court order, seizing Hale assets for restitution. Their empire crumbling, guests who'd mocked Elena faced shunning, their brands toxic. As Elena's influence reshaped the industry, her reflection, her survival, her trap's precision fueled her stand, a flashback to her Swiss mentor, Alain, saying, "Your legacy will outlive their lies." Explained her vision, she'd planned the foundation to honor her father. The audience cheered. Their anger transformed into awe, as Elena's might and vision crowned her a queen. Her new face, a radiant throne. Elena launched the Hartley Foundation for Women, aiding survivors of emotional abuse. A flashback showed her visiting a Pittsburgh shelter. Her mother's voice lifted those who fall. Her inner monologue reflected, "I was their prey. Now I'm their mirror." The foundation drew global praise. Her new face, a symbol of rebirth. Hartley's stock soared. Her drugs, saving lives. Her modesty, a badge. Whispers spread, the woman who defied the cliff. The Waldorf's chandeliers stood witness. The elite's applause, a memory. As Elena walked away, her green eyes clear, a final flashback hit her father's lab. His words, "Your heart is your strength." The Chamonix crevasse, once her tomb, was now her stage. Her survival a vow kept, her psychological arc completed. She'd shed trust for power. Her silence a throne. The audience roared. Their fury transformed into awe. As Elena's justice crowned her a queen, her new name a radiant scepter. If that gave you chills, hit like, share this if you've ever been underestimated. Comment your favorite part of her comeback. Subscribe for more revenge stories that hit hard. And remember, never mess with the quiet ones.